Episode 2, Mari discovers that she has superpowers in the tried and true way that one typically does discover that they have superpowers, and that's a very convenient mugger.
Normally, this is where I'd say, my eyes are up here. Right?
Anansi, the trickster god. According to legend, he fashioned a totem which he gave
To a warrior named Tantu.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Vixen episode 2 video, all about the origin of the Tantu totem, or the Anansi totem, however you want to think about it. Technically, the comics call it the Tantu totem. If you're confused, Anansi is the African god. Tantu was the original wearer of the totem in the origin story, in the creation mythos of the totem. And I like the idea that it's the trickster god, or the spider god, however you want to think about him, that creates the totem, as if he's creating it to create more mischief. Like, I'm going to give you this great object of power, but not because I want to help you, because I'm a god, I'm bored, and I'm looking for some laughs. This episode just explains a little bit more about her history in the United States. They change a few things from the comics. In the original origin story, she left her homeland of her own free accord after her family had been killed. She has a pretty tragic past. Her mother, her biological mother, was killed by poachers. She went to live with the village reverend, then he was killed by her uncle who was trying to get the totem. Now, the totem had been passed down in her family. Her mother had given it to her. They kind of dealt with that in this episode, like it was an heirloom left to her by her family. But in this version of events, she doesn't know anything about her biological family. For all intents and purposes, she's completely Americanized. In the comics when she debuted, she was already an adult when she entered the United States. I thought it was funny that Mark Guggenheim shined a light on the very obvious trope of convenient muggers as a way to find out you have superhero powers. The other option for some superheroes, depending on where their powers come from, is getting dumped in a vat of toxic waste. DC Comics, Marvel, Stan Lee. Toxic waste, cosmic rays, and convenient muggers. The reason I think she hasn't found out about her powers before now is just because she hasn't been in too many situations that have triggered her flight or fight response. When she's getting mugged, it's like an automatic biological response. In order for her powers to work, she has to be wearing the totem, but it can totally be an automatic thing. It's not like technology that you have to, press a button to activate or shout a command or a spell that you have to speak something. So Dr. McAllister, the person she goes to see at the university, is supposed to be a future love interest, as Mark Guggenheim tells it. But as it seems right now, that shadowy figure that it seems like he's working for, that woman, is probably someone from Vixen's biological family. Now remember, in the comics, it's her uncle that's trying to get the totem from her. They may have just changed it, and this might be like her aunt or her cousin or something like that. Really, the next step from here is learning a little bit more about those people that are trying to get their hands on the totem, and her running into Barry and Oliver, that scene from the first episode, which was kind of like a flash forward. But so far, I'm digging the series. You guys can let me know, like, what do you think about the animation so far? I think the biggest complaint is that there's just not enough of it, which is actually pretty awesome as far as criticism goes. I did see some articles calling out, the original Batman the Animated Series and a lot of the original Warner animation from the 90s, in that they greenlit like 60 episodes for the first season up front, but that was kind of like a weird thing. There was actually an interview that I heard with the producers a long time ago where they said that Warner Brothers Animation did this weird thing where they wanted a bunch of animation, but they greenlit 60 episodes for the first season. They produced all of them, and then that was it. Normally for like a live action TV series, they'll greenlight like 22 to 24 episodes for a full season, and then they'll do season 2. They won't greenlight 60 episodes up front. So even if they decide to not do live action Vixen, which I think that they will, they could just greenlight an animated series, but they would probably air it on television. Right now, I haven't seen any ads running on these Vixen episodes, so this seems more like a test. It's not something that they're trying to make money on, because they wouldn't be able to greenlight a whole season unless they could sell ads on it and make money. Like, they're not going to make a TV series for free. But you guys can let me know, like, how would you feel about an animated Vixen series? Like, as long as we get like full half-hour episodes, like 20 to 22 per year. Even if it were only like 13 episodes a year, I feel like that would be good. But here's something interesting to think about, because we were all talking about Green Lantern, Arrow stuff the other day. Think about Arrow and Magic in the Lazarus Pit during Season 3. Because they were developing this series when they were still writing Arrow Season 3 and they hadn't introduced the Lazarus Pit yet, they really didn't roll that out until they dumped Thea in it. A lot of people, including me, were a little disappointed that they didn't dump Oliver in it halfway through the season, but maybe they were holding off on widespread use of magic until they got to Vixen. Guggenheim has said the plan was always to introduce magic in Arrow Season 4, so that's probably why we didn't see Oliver get dumped in the Lazarus Pit. But by the time we get to Season 5, I'll be interested to see what they try to start doing. If we already have magic, the next step would be pushing to outer space, because we're already doing time travel. Everybody cross your fingers and just say the Green Lantern oath. Okay, so what's gonna happen next is I have a couple Q&As like Walking Dead, Game of Thrones I'm gonna try to get out, so be sure to subscribe to get that stuff. I will be doing Flash and Arrow videos just because so much stuff happened. We're probably gonna get trailers for those in the next week or so. We are within 4 weeks of both premieres, so that is like the danger zone. So trailers could drop at any moment, so just be prepared. While you guys wait for the rest of my stuff to post, you can click here for a new trailer from Gotham and a little bit about Tony Todd becoming the voice of Zoom for Flash Season 2. And you can click here for my Vixen Episode 1 video if you haven't seen it yet. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.